So when we're using Evernote, we are collecting a lot of information, as you see here on the screen, lots and lots of data, some handwritten notes, some personal stories, even some pictures. But what do we do when we want to take all of this information out of Evernote, or we want to save it for our posterity? Keeping it electronic is wonderful, but down deep inside, I really want to make a printed copy. So we're going to get into how do we make a printed copy of our Evernote notes. So stand by, we'll get right to it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're using Evernote, the Evernote application, and not Evernote web. And the way you know the difference is that the Evernote web shows right here, for example, Evernote web. All right. So let me find something here. You always have to be careful what you're showing on the internet. So I got to pick the right screen. So here, notice here it says Home Data, Evernote Web up here at the top. Now I don't have the same features. For example, I can't click on multiple things. I'm holding down the control key and trying to click on multiple things. It's not working. But and you can also notice you're on the web right here. But with here, notice I can click two things. It says two selected. So that's really what you need to do to have this exercise and what we're going to show in this video actually work. You're going to need to make sure that you have Evernote client downloaded. And to download that Evernote client, just go to evernote.com and download the client. It's very easy. You'll log in with your credentials and everything will download to your local desktop. Okay, so how do we get these things printed? So as you can see here in this, I have only 19 folders. Now some of my journals have a lot more than that, or they might have less. So this one is 421. So we want to see how can we get all of that information into a book without having a book that's 500 pages long or 1,000 pages long. So here's what we can do. So let's go ahead and go back here to a couple ones that we're going to do. So here is the little hometown that I grew up in, Green Valley Lake. And here was our friend across the street, the Moningers. And our house is over here. All right, so I'm just kind of drawing out some memories and writing down some stuff. Now, if you notice here, I've drawn out these memories in different applications. Boogie Board was one of them over the years. So over the years, you're going to use different applications to input information into Evernote. Evernote does a great job of capturing it all, but how do you make that into a printable format? So let's go ahead and do that. So what you want to do first is start by clicking on both of these. Now notice here that it says two selected and they're both selected. That's great. Do a right click and say merge notes. Now in this example, I'm just going to put in test capture. Now you would put in whatever, like for example, maybe childhood memories might be it. And so notice here that you have these two right here, GVL map and Moningers. I'm going to click down on this and say keep the original notes. Because I'm just showing you how to do it. I don't want to get rid of those notes. If I didn't click that advanced option, it will delete these two notes once it does the merge, which is what you ultimately want. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. So here I'm just going to say merge these two notes. Boom, it's done. Now if I go back up, see where it says test capture? And as I load that up, it's still going to take just a minute to load. And now you see here, test capture is the name of the note, but this is the first note right here. And then it'll draw a horizontal line. And this is the second note here. Now, why are these BB files, these PDF files in here? These PDF files are in here because the original note was entered as a PDF file. And you notice here that we can highlight that all in blue and we can do different actions to that as well. But because we did that, Evernote went ahead and drew that inside as native into Evernote as well. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. If you see within your file, like I do here, it's a duplicate, just click on the PDF file and hit delete. and do that here as well. And this is an important step because if you don't, you're going to get duplicates in your printed material, and you don't want duplicates in your printed material. Now that I have this merged, I can just go here, I can click on the ellipsis here, and I can say print. Now I can just say print it to a PDF, for example, or whatever format I'm going to use for my book. I may just choose to print this all to PDF, merge all the PDFs together, and just have a hard copy printed. Or I could go to Lulu, for example, and print there. But not in this video. We're not going to talk about that. So let's just say here, we're just going to name this test, and we're going to hit save. Now, if we go to that downloads directory, we're going to see test right there. We're going to double click on it, and let's see what it looks like. So this is the merge of my notes. Notice here, you've got the first one, and now it's there. You've got the second one. Pretty cool. So what's the strategy here? The strategy is when you have a notebook, for example, like this, that has 421 note entries, we want to go ahead and move this into areas of 50, and then we merge those together. So the first strategy is, whoops daisy, don't hit Control A there. We're going to say here, I thought there was an option where you could select all, but in either case, you can go down and just select like this. Let me see here. Now there is an option in here somewhere. I apologize. I usually know where all the options are, but anyways, so here you can put them all together, but it'll only let you do 50 notes at one time. So if you just want to do 50 notes, then click on the first 50 and name it something. You can always rename the file later. So name it Journal 2012 1 through 50, and then capture it. And then do the next 50, capture it. And then you'll have just 2 notes remaining, Journal 2012 1 through 50 and Journal 2012 51 through 100 or whatever, right? And then when those are all merged, then you can merge all of those into a single note as well. So eventually you'll get down ultimately to one note called Journal 2012 that will represent all 421 notes.